So with regards to us feeling stuck, us feeling like, oh, I can't get out of this mess, I don't feel good, we have to keep reminding ourselves again and again. I get so often, not a lot, but very often I get people reaching out to me when they are already in suffering, when suffering is already all over, when they're already drowning, really, then they reach out to me. Oh, this is going on, this. What can I do? Sometimes, I think the kindest thing I should do is to say, you should have come a lot earlier. Right now, the house is already on fire. It's not very maybe sexy, interesting to come to these lectures about how to prevent house fires. But we're so forgetful, we're always playing with matches. We're always playing with matches and living in a house made of paper. And there's paper everywhere. So if we don't immerse our minds and hearts all the time with how to prevent starting a fire, then when you have started a fire in this paper house with piles and piles of paper around, to hope that somebody can rescue you, it's very hard. It's very hard. So we have to habituate, learning, contemplating, and cultivating the three modes of learning. To listen, to hear, to be immersed in. So for me, I'm quote unquote teaching, right? But every day I get to remind myself. In the effort of sharing with you, I have to remind myself. Oh, this is how you prevent fire from starting. Now, if we just live in fear, right? Oh, I live in a house made of paper. Oh, I live in a house made of paper. Oh, there are piles of paper here. I cannot start a fire. I cannot start a fire. I cannot start a fire. That is also not a solution. But recognizing right now I'm living in a house made of paper, and there are piles and piles of paper around, and I have this disease. I have this habit of liking to play with matches. So we rely on the Dharma to say, hey, can you please control yourself and not play with matches? And then even if you are going to play with matches, can you please remember you're living in a house made of paper and you have piles and piles of paper. The couch that you're sitting on is made from paper. The coffee table you have in front of you also made of paper. Can you just be careful, right? These are reminders, right? But also more important reminder is you're living in a house made of papers and you have this habit of playing with matches. So maybe you should remove some piles of paper. So you start by removing piles of paper, or at least you organize them better, then you put a weight on them so that they're not flying all over the place, right? So these are all the ways that we kind of keep things from turning into a big house of fire. But eventually what you have to do is either vacate this house, one way of thinking about it, or solve your addiction problems with playing with matches, or replace your house and build a house that is not built from paper. And so one aspect of what we're doing daily is we are reminding ourselves, hey, you live in a house of paper. You have a problem with addiction, with playing with matches. Then you also have the problem of forgetfulness. One hand. On the other hand is, how do I solve this problem that is more permanent than, no, don't play with matches, don't play with matches, don't play with matches. I live in a house of paper. I live in a house of paper. You have to do both things, simultaneously. Then finishing up how the 5 paramitas arises from the 6 paramita, then the paramita of perfection of meditative concentration is a lot easier for the mind to settle when the mind has some understanding about how things are rather than how things merely appear to be. Then we no longer keep asking for things that are impossible. We no longer get so easily distracted. Then we are willing and happily and contented to let the mind settle. And then we can begin to even enjoy and appreciate what it is like to have the mind be settled, for the heart to be settled. Then the peace and the quiet of that. And then the mind naturally enters into deeper and deeper and deeper levels of evenness, of being composed, not being scattered, being composed, being present. Then with that, the perfection of wisdom becomes blaze up like fire, even stronger, burning all the obscurations, burning up all the afflictive emotions, burning up all the mental defilements.